What's up, guys? Before we begin this podcast, I want to let you know that we are once again brought to you by Honey. What up, Honey? Thank you so much for sponsoring the podcast. You guys are legends, guys. We all shop online. We've all seen that promo code field taunt us at checkout. But thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past because this is a free browser extension. And once you go to a website and you want to buy some product, maybe some like, I don't know, vitamin D pills, then Honey will give you the promo code to get a nice, sweet discount. And it supports over 30,000 stores online. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/go deep.
What's with deep? Going deep. Chatting
Yeah, that's interesting too, because you seem like the kind of guy who could throw up anything,
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll just talk about all the things I built.
Yeah. Should we kick it off? You ready to rock?
Oh, you mean we weren't rolling? I was giving you some of my wittiest witticisms.
You were giving us the show. I think I might keep this in, but
you gotta keep it, bro.
But
it's all gold. It's gold.
Solid gold. But Chad normally kicks it off with an intro.
Well, Chad, don't kick it off.
We have
a man of my age. We don't talk about kicking off.
No kicking off. Just start cruising.
We don't. With all the medications I'm on, I don't. The phrase "kicking off" is just. It's a little too close to home.
The doctors advise against it.
Yeah, they don't want me to get too excited.
All right, well, we'll leave out the part of the segment on the pod where we all do 50 burpees together.
All right, Chad, what do you do to kick it off? 'Cause I'm very busy. I have 4 podcasts lined up right after this.
Do you really?
No.
Oh, sorry, I'm very gullible. What's up, Stokers of Stoke Nation? This is Chad Kroger coming in with the Going Deep with Chad and JT podcast. Guys, before we begin, I'll remind you once again that we are brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our trims pubed, for looking after our hogs, for making sure that we're looking fresh and clean. Use code GODEEP20 at manscaped.com. I'm here with my compadre, Jean Thomas. What up?
Boom clap, Stokers.
And we're here with actor, producer, Ron Perlman. It's an honor to have you on the podcast. Thank you for joining us.
I was told I didn't have a choice, so whatever.
Well, it's good to have you here.
My people said no. I said, "Can I get out of this?" And they said, "Fuck no." So here I am.
I appreciate that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank my people.
Yeah. Big thanks to your people. Shout out.
Patrick, right? He seems like a good dude.
He's all my people right there in one 2-syllable phrase.
Are you guys tight?
It depends on what day you ask.
Sure.
How about today?
No, me and Patrick is tight. He's good people. He's good. People.
Who's your best friend in the whole world?
My girl that I'm living with.
Oh, that's nice. How long you guys been together?
A couple of years.
Nice. I'm going through a rough patch right now with my girlfriend.
Well, I have a business on the side. I can fix that for you, and I won't even charge you full price.
What's the biz?
I just had advice to the lovelorn, shit like that.
Yeah, that's what we do on here. We give a lot of advice to the lovelorn. It's hard to be in.
You got to take your own advice every now and again, bro.
All right. Yeah, just got to sit.
What would you say to you?
See, I don't know. I've counseled a lot of people, and I don't know what the answer is. I think the answer is just to wait and see.
It's always hard when it's you.
Yeah, I think it's just wait and see, right? Just hang in there and just do the best you can, and if it's meant to be, it'll be. Kind of all those truisms that I think are so cliche. I think there's a lot of validity in them, right? You just gotta kind of.
It's a fortune cookie kind of reality.
Yeah. What's have you gotten any really good advice on love that you kind of But it seems like every relationship you need new advice, right? Because every one of them's so distinct.
Yeah, no, I mean, I find that other people's opinions about love are basically useless. It's such a subjective sort of thing. It's so ethereal. There is no. It's like oxygen. You can't see it or feel it. You just know it's there when it is, and so. I mean, there's centuries and centuries of poetry and great music and stuff, all about people that had their teeth kicked in, through the organ that's mistakenly called the heart, and I'm a huge fan of saloon songs, all of which are generated by the problems that exist between lovers, and the chaos that it can invite. And when I hear these songs, I recognize them as things that I have experienced, and this is why I know that these guys who write these things are not writing them just to write a song. They're digging down into the deep well of their own experience. But that doesn't ever prevent me from making the same fucking mistakes over and over and over again, and stepping into the same quicksand, and tripping over the same rocks, and tripping over my own dick, so yeah. There you have it. I mean, it's not something you can take a class for and say, okay, I got this now. I got this. What else you got?
Right.
Is there anyone or in your life that has a good grasp on love, or do you find that most people are always kind of searching for, or just kind of sort of walking through the dark trying to figure it out?
I think it's a very kind of mercurial and elusive thing. It's one of those, it's like holding on to a bird, mm-hmm. If you hold on to it too hard, you damage it. But if you hold on to it too soft, it flies away. And it's always like an exercise in you have to take so much out of it in order to really get into it. You have to take out your ego. You have to take out your desire to control things. Then you have a shot at experiencing the things that are beautiful about going places that love will take you, without deciding this is my agenda. The minute I'm just riffing here. I had no idea you were going to ask me this shit, and frankly, I've never even given it much thought. So I'm just bullshitting you right now. But I'll keep going if
Please, it's helping me.
Like, yeah, I got nowhere to be for at least 20 minutes.
Well, let's empty the tank in those 20 minutes.
You bet, baby. Anything else besides love?
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting you touched on sort of letting go of your ego and letting go of trying to control things. I guess have you found that to be the most helpful thing in this business as well? Is when you just sort of let whatever comes to you come to you, and that's usually the best things. Or are you? What am I trying to say? I guess because this business is so difficult and so tough to sort of see where you're headed. But it seems that when you sort of let go and sort of, let your soul guide you, I guess that's how you can really find your way. Does that make sense?
Well, this is what I'm about to say is an absolute true statement. There's absolutely nothing exaggerated about what I'm about to say. I am so blessed to have been involved in not a handful, but like a multitude of phenomenal projects with phenomenal people over all of the decades that I've been doing this. And it's actually just even getting better. I just turned 70, and I just did two of the coolest parts I've ever played for really cool people. And while all of that was happening, I was trying to plan out what my career would look like. None of those things that I mentioned were planned upon. None of them were stuff that I generated or controlled, or, I mean, not none, because in the last few, I'll get to where I'm going in a second, but they were just things that were acts of God. You know, they just fell out of the skies and into my lap. I had no idea why they happened to me. That they were, you know, incredible series of happenstances, great things to have anybody bestow upon you. Just real gifts if you do what I do. And none of them were planned on. So you start to believe in destiny, you know, and things, you know, we talked earlier about, you know, unquantifiable, mysterious things that, you know, you can't prove that they exist. You just know that they do. But I'm a big believer that, you know, somewhere along the way, my life was written on the wind, and it just unfolded. And it unfolded in such a way. I sat down to write a book about 7 or 8 years ago, just so that I could grapple with these things that we're talking about. Like, what part of all of the great things that happened to me did I have control over? The answer is virtually none. They all just came. Which, if you know, to maybe come close to answering your question, it's a hard question to answer. But yeah, I mean, it's like Carlos Castaneda says, you know, in the Don Juan book, you know, just relax and pay attention. That's the ultimate, like, you know, all the peyote and all of the things that they're doing to, you know, expand their mind and figure out, you know, how to grab life by some sort of balls. And, you know, basically it comes down to just relax and pay attention. And those are hard things to do because they require trust, and they require the fact that you do have good things coming your way, even though you can't foresee them, even though there's no proof of them, you know. And not everybody is that lucky. I mean, that's why I consider myself, you know, an incredibly lucky, blessed human, because if I was to sit down at the age of 17, when I started to feel like maybe I'll be an actor, and write out what kind of career I wanted to have, I had it exactly like I would have written, exactly, and continued to. And none of it, even though it seemed like it was a plan, it was more of an envisioning. I think that is very helpful in terms of, if you want to do something that's going to close the gap between where you are and where you want to be, visualization is something that I've always been deeply dedicated to, and continue to.
Yeah, because I was listening to past interviews, and you talk about that point in your career after Beauty and the Beast where the phone didn't ring for 3 years, and then it's sort of, and then you met Guillermo del Toro, and it's sort of, was there a point in those 3 years where you sort of let go, and then things started unraveling, or is it just kind of how did you feel at that point in your career?
Horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
I wish I knew then what I know now. And now I'm able to, because of just the living proof of having been alive for as long as I have, and the fact that I'm, a lot of the frenetic energy of a young man, especially when it comes to ambition, has kind of dissipated a little bit in me. So I'm able to ride out, but I'm still not happy when there were these big lulls. But that was excruciating, and I took it very, very personally. And it wasn't until Guillermo swooped down and literally jump-started the second half of my life, literally, where I realized, oh, fuck, that was supposed to happen.
Right.
And was that
I was supposed to go down to ground zero, to absolute nothingness, to be stripped away of everything, in order to restart again, and in order to with all the things that come with restarting, like to appreciate things in a way that I never did before, to understand destiny in a way that I never did before, to understand learning how to trust that you're going to be okay if you just don't sit on it too hard, if you just don't fuck it up. You're going to be okay if you just relax, pay attention, keep doing your work, keep doing whatever you got to do to keep your mind right. If that's going to the gym, if that's whatever that is, if that's building an ark, whatever that is, that keeps you going until something swoops down and lifts you up.
Was that Hellboy, or did you guys do a film before that together?
We did a film called Kronos. It was Guillermo del Toro's first film. It was a very, very, very low budget film, which we shot in Spanish in Mexico City. He was 26 years old. I was 41, maybe. And he'd never made a film before. And so I was there to see the coming out party of what turned out to be one of the most profoundly brilliant, unique voices in cinema.
How'd you guys get linked up?
He had been doing a lot of research because he liked to do monster movies. And so he was doing research in prosthetic makeup so that he could get the facility to create his own monsters, because there weren't a lot of special effects makeup artists in Mexico. So he figured if I want to create these creatures, I'm going to have to do it myself. He came to the United States. He studied with Rick Baker, Dick Smith, Stan Winston, and I had already done a shitload of special effects makeup jobs. So he kept seeing me over and over and over again. And he wrote me this beautiful letter, and he sent me the script of Kronos, which was the most sophisticated, elegant vampire movie I'd ever read, and told me how important it would be if I was to help him, do this. He didn't realize how desperate I was when I would have been a mailman at that point, if that was just going to bring in a paycheck. But yeah, that was the beginning of it, and we fell in love with each other, not in a sexual way, although I wouldn't rule that out. But anyway, we became hermanos, kind of opposite sides of the same coin, and in the way we thought, in our aesthetic, in the way we like to grab life by the balls and eat our way through it. So we kept doing it to the point where I just finished my 6th movie with him a couple of months ago, called Nightmare Alley, which is about to come out sometime this year.
What's it like? Like, now that you guys are doing these huge budget movies together, is there like a stop and kind of smell the roses moments that you guys have where you're like, dude, I can't believe we've come this far? I don't know. Do you guys ever just like like look out at the ocean, you're like, holy fuck, we did this?
I do privately, quietly, because if I said that out loud, he'd go, "Fuck you, you piece of shit, pussy," you know. So I'll sit there and be a fanboy and go, I can't believe I'm here. I mean, you know, I still do that. I'm still a complete fanboy. I'm writing another book right now. I'm working on these chapters where I'm grappling with what happens to me when I have to work with movie stars and how fucked up I get and how, you know, short-circuited.
It makes you insecure?
Totally insecure. It intimidates the shit out of me. When I'm a huge fan of somebody's work, having to that distracts me more than it should.
Like Albert Brooks on Drive, was that a tough one?
Yeah, that was a tough one. I mean, if Albert Brooks had fans in the beginning of his when he first started appearing on
like
television,
Real Life and Saturday Night Live and stuff like, and Carson. That's
if he had fans back then, he never had one as voracious as me, or more voracious than me. So when I finally get to meet him and found out that we're just going to be doing this movie together, it was a big adjustment, and it was a challenge. I'm a fanboy.
Is that tough too? Because you're playing the heavy in a lot of stuff, so you got to kind of have the status in a lot of scenes, but then you're playing opposite, you know, Ryan Gosling or Charlie Hunnam or someone like that. Does that?
You know, it helps when these guys are so generous and so beautiful as humans, and they can sense that you're beating yourself up a little too hard, and they help you along, you know. I have found that, with very few exceptions, most of the guys who I worship are also great guys and put you at ease really quickly. So you get beyond it, and you start to be able to give a performance, and then little by little the butterflies get replaced by, you know, the job at hand. But I'm a fanboy. I'm not ashamed to say.
There's a lot of beauty in that too, and being so sensitive and feeling that so acutely, even with all the success that you've had.
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you
I just did a movie called Don't Look Up, and the cast is Leo, Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, Chris Evans, Mark Rylance, and I'm on my way to work. I only have one scene that I'm in with Meryl, Leo, Jennifer Lawrence, and Jonah Hill and Rob Morgan. That's the only scene I'm in with the heavyweights. And we're shooting in Boston in December, and the Teamster picks me up, puts me, you know, in the back of the van, and it's 27 degrees Fahrenheit. And he keeps looking back to wondering why I'm wiping the sweat off my face, and wondering if I'm okay, because he's freezing in the fucking van. And that's what happened to me. I mean, just the notion of having to go to work with those people. I got the flop sweats. I got the Albert Brooks in broadcast news.
Yeah.
Flop sweats on my way to work. I mean, once I got there and once we rehearsed, and I realized these people are just as fucking concerned about being good as I am, you know, and they're, you know, and they're beautiful and helpful and generous and human, and, you know, it immediately got replaced, but it happens.
Does it, do you get thrown off in terms of your process, sort of like, do you start to like, I wonder what Meryl's process is like? Am I prepping enough? All that kind of stuff. Do you have those kinds of nerves, or are you still able to stay in your own, trust your own process and trust your own gut with regards to that?
Well, that's another thing that kind of has evolved over the course of time, you know, and I trust my own ability to get to where I want to go more than I used to. If you'd asked me that question 20 years ago, I would have said, yeah, and I did. I mean, you know, I did, having to work on a scene with Marlon Brando, say to myself, he's probably thinking what a fucking amateur I am because of his ability to get to where he wants to be as an actor, and I'll never ever, you know. So I was applying all this pressure on myself that was insurmountable. But these days, and you know, it goes back to that big thing of trust. You know, it takes a long time to learn. I mean, if you're a young guy and you have learned the big lesson of trusting in the universe, then you're way ahead of the game. You're way ahead of where I was. It took me forever to start to learn how to go, hey man, you've done your homework, you read the script, you have a lot of strong opinions about what's going to make this scene, you know, commensurate with what the writer and the director intended for it to be. You don't know what you're going to do when the camera's rolling, but you know, you better just fucking trust that something good is going to come out. And the hardest thing to do is, like, you know, like a bungee jump. You know, you just jump off you know, the Verrazano Narrows Bridge to your death and hope that cord doesn't snap.
Have you ever acted in a scene with someone you really disliked?
Yeah.
I don't. How does that affect the scene? Can it make it better, or?
No, you just do your work. I mean, you just do your work, and you reserve all that personal stuff.
Did that get harder?
Huh?
Or could you always do that? Or when you were younger, would you be like, oh man, I don't know if I can, like.
No, it was always about performing, you know, your task at hand, which is to be your character in the scene, regardless of what you think about who you're acting opposite. Sometimes you realize that you have to work a little harder to maintain a chemistry, because there is real hatred between you and the person you're acting with, and so that becomes part of the little exercise of the day. But at the end of the day, the only thing you're there to do is play your character in the scene and be true to the authenticity of what it is you're getting at.
What is your process, like, if you don't mind getting into it? Like, do you write like a character bio? Do you go like extensively into their backstory and all that kind of stuff, or do you primarily just analyze the script and sort of look to see how you can deliver what's needed in the scene? Like, is there a ton of prep beforehand, or are you kind of mostly focused on the scene at hand?
If you're playing somebody who has a skill set that you need to research, then that's what you do. You know, if you're playing a pilot, an airplane pilot, or an FBI agent, or you know, or school teacher, you're gonna want to do research. You know, you're gonna want to immerse yourself in those people's approach to doing their job. But I would say like 90% of the time, I'm just relying on the made-up world that the writer has come up with. And my process varies depending on how close I feel I am to the character. If I feel really close to the character, I basically just read the thing and then read the thing over and over again. And then as we get closer to the shooting day, read everything leading up to the scene you're about to do, so that you know your backstory. And then you come in with, you know, you're informed about who you're supposed to be in this moment, in this big pastiche. And I don't learn my lines until I've had my first rehearsal. I know my lines pretty good because I've read them over and over again, but I have not sat and memorized them prior to coming to the set. Once we have our first rehearsal and they're lighting the scene, I learn them. But I want to reserve judgment on learning the lines by rote until I've interacted with the other actors and seen how they're going to play it and find out maybe there's more to the dynamic of the scene than I thought there was. And I won't know that until I get it on its feet with the other people I'm with or in front of the director who might have his own ideas. And once I get, okay, I know what we got to do here. Then I'll sit in the trailer while they light the scene and finish learning the lines. That's my process. I know an awful lot of actors who, would never work like that. So there's no one right or wrong way. You've got to find out what's right for you.
And when you say you're nervous in a scene, especially when you're playing off all these, really talented people, are you like, does it manifest itself more like when it's your close up? Like, are you more comfortable in like, for me, I've done like in the limited acting, I've done like, we did an episode of Hawaii 5-0. And I was good in the wides, but then when they'd be like, hey, Par, it's your close up now. And then there was like the 40-person crew and I knew everyone was focused on me. I'll sometimes find myself tightening up.
Well, that's natural, because that's kind of the money shot. And, the unfortunate thing about anybody who's in a performance-oriented profession, whether it be singers, dancers, musicians, actors, or athletes, any athlete in any sport, all performance-oriented, and you're going to have, there's no science that's going to you can depend on to get you through it. You're going to have good days of your performing and you're going to have shitty days of you performing. And the idea is to be good on a shitty day, because the one constant is pressure, and the pressure is different in the first inning with nobody on base than it is in the 8th inning when you're down 2 runs and you got 2 men on base, and that's your close-up. All kinds of shit are going to work on you to get in your way because you feel so much pressure to be good. But the trick is, how do I push all that aside and just relax and trust that I'm going to be as good as I was in the wide shot when it was the 2nd inning and there was nobody on base and there was no score.
Yeah. Did you ever, when you were feeling discomfort, did you ever turn to like drinking or anything like that to help kind of like loosen you up?
I'm a needle guy. I like to just mainline shit.
Oh, you just go heroin. You just go straight in there, huh?
No chocolate. No. Chocolate.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dark chocolate?
No milk chocolate. That's my downfall. Dark chocolate is actually
It's pretty good.
Okay to mainline, they say.
Yeah.
It's got some like oxidants or whatever they're called.
Would you ever be embarrassed, like when the AD would come into your trailer and you're just, fixing yourself up with all this chocolate? Or
depends what I'm wearing.
They'd kind of turn a blind eye too. They'd be like, "Oh, it's just Ron. That's just his process."
The great thing about these ADs is that they know their ass is on the line, and if they show any kind of judgment whatsoever, they know that
they're making waves.
Moments away from having their career shattered.
Yeah.
Did you just look at me? Did you not read my contract? You don't look in my eyes ever.
What is that? What is that when some people don't want people to make eye contact with them? It's just they're too empathetic and it drains them.
I have no idea. I mean, we're in a collaborative. If movies and theater and music are anything that unless you're a solo artist, it's hard to be a solo artist when you're making a film. You need at least 2-3 guys, at least, to make a movie. So how do you put in your contract, if I catch anybody looking in my eyes, they're fired? I mean, don't you want to know what the other guy is, going to be doing if you're in a collaborative kind of thing where your life is depending on his? I don't get it. Anyway, there's an awful lot I don't know. But if you ask me about chocolate, I'm good.
How did you prep for a role like Sons of Anarchy? Did you study biker gangs, or did you feel like you're somewhat close to the character?
Well, first of all, they're called clubs, okay, not gangs.
Oh, my apologies.
And this is the first thing I learned, because I call them gangs too. Everybody does.
Yeah.
But they're clubs, motorcycle clubs.
Gotcha.
But yes, strangely enough, I was very intimidated to play Clay Morrow, even though I had already done all these things where I was completely covered in makeup and having to do stuff that would seemingly be very challenging. And here's Clay Morrow. I just go and comb my hair and walk on set and start saying my lines. There's no real. But the adjustment to Clay Morrow for me, was profound, because he possessed a kind of a value set that I didn't understand. He was ruthless. He was at times amoral. He was at times violent and explosive. He was dishonest. He was incredibly capable of doing things that were completely heartless. And I wasn't sure I could do him. And I read every book I could on the Angels and every other motorcycle club you could. And I saw every movie I could watch. And I ultimately realized you just got to get the guy's psychology. You have to really, really, and that was an imagination game. That was like, what part of me can do all those things that I just listed to you? The ruthlessness and the violence and the amorality and the blind ambition, even if it means destroying people. What part of me is in there that's capable of those things? Because that's really the only thing you have to go on when you're an actor. And it was uncomfortable and it was a stretch, but it was at the same time very, very challenging. And you want to be uncomfortable every now and again. When you're acting, you want to be not sure about, do I got this? Because it makes for a really great engagement between you and your job.
What about when you because a lot of your work has involved tons of special effects and makeup and stuff, and like when you're Hellboy, for example, was it challenging? Did you find it challenging to emote the way you wanted to with like all of that covering your face, or did it come naturally to you? What was it easier than you thought?
Hellboy was probably the easiest part I've ever played in my life, because Guillermo, he was taking a character that was in a graphic novel that only spoke in one-word sentences. 2 words was a monologue for him. So he had a veneer in the comic books, but in eking him out and making him 3-dimensional and human for the movies, Guillermo had to find his humanity and his point of view and his personality. And he chose me. He basically wrote it for me. And if anybody knows how I speak and how I'm always just fucking around and sending shit up and, completely degenerate in a situation. People go, come on, this is serious. I go, okay. Watch out for that banana peel,
Yeah.
I mean, Guillermo took all that stuff that he knew of me and made his Hellboy that. So
Mm.
it didn't matter how much makeup I was wearing for that. It was like they said action, and I just was Ron. I was just Ron, you know. I mean, except when it came to the superhuman stuff. But in terms of his psychology and his sense of humor and his distinct underachieving kind of ways, which is what made him different from any other superhero you've ever seen in a comic book movie. You know, he was a guy who would rather sit home and eat pizza and watch the Three Stooges than go out and save the world. But, you know, they kept grabbing him by the arm and go, come on, you're here to save the world. Come on. All right, fine. But he was, you know, that's me. I don't want to, you know, I want to stay home and shoot chocolate up into my veins and watch Marx Brothers movies.
Nice. Who's your favorite Marx Brothers?
It varies. You know, like I've been watching the Marx Brothers for 70 years now. So one day it's Harpo, and one day it's Chico, and most of the time it's Groucho.
Yeah, he's got most of the witticisms, right?
Yeah, he's just, I mean, he's emblematic of why we love the Three Stooges. If any one of them is emblematic, it's Groucho. It's his sensibility. It's you know.
But they're different than the Stooges, right?
There's no comparison.
Yeah.
Although I love my Stooges, but you know, there's no comparison. I love Laurel and Hardy too, but again, they're not the Marx Brothers.
Was your dad a big comedy guy?
My dad was a big movie guy. All of my taste in movies came from sitting and watching movies with my dad, who I didn't have for very long in my life. He died when I was 19. He was 49, but he was that was a long time ago. But thank you. But he was a movie freak, and he loved all the good shit. I mean, he really loved the Marx Brothers. So whenever they were on, I would sit. I wanted to hang out with him. My dad was a fun guy to be around. So I just, whatever he was doing, I was doing it with him, you know. And a lot of it was listening to Sinatra and watching old black and white movies.
Was he supportive of you becoming an actor?
He was. I mean, he never saw me as a professional. He saw me only in high school and college when I was getting the bug to maybe explore it. He didn't live long enough to watch. I was still in grad school when my dad passed away. So he never saw me as a professional. But what he did see when in the early goings was he was very encouraging.
Nice. That's awesome.
He did stand up too. That was the first thing he did in your career. Is that right?
I didn't know
For about 5 minutes, yeah.
5 minutes, yeah.
How was it hanging out with other comedians? They're pretty brutal, huh?
I never got that far. I never hung out with other comedians. I had a partner named Spencer Schwartz. And this was back in the day where, you know, Jews didn't use their own name. So I was Perlman, he was Schwartz. So we were Stewart and Perry. And the reason why our careers didn't last was because we never wrote anything. We just stole Rodney Dangerfield.
I did that at the beginning too. I would just do other people's jokes. I'm amazed no one ever caught me.
And you know, the reason why nobody caught me is because I caught George Carlin before he was famous, and I was stealing all his stuff, and nobody knew. Everybody thought I was being original because George Carlin hadn't really hit the big time yet. So I got away with it, but for 5 minutes, literally 5 minutes.
Was this like Carlin, or was this like Seven Dirty Words Carlin, or somewhere in between?
Carlin, the hippy dippy weatherman.
Okay.
You remember the hippy dippy weatherman?
Vaguely.
Well, that was his first bit. Hey man, it's the hippy dippy weatherman with the hippy dippy weatherman. You know, pot smoking TV weatherman. Very funny, hilarious. Very funny shit.
Yeah. Do you still watch a lot of comedy?
Oh yeah.
Who are you into now?
Well, that's a tough question. Who am I into now?
Or who do you revisit?
I am not up on the current crop of stand-up people. And I'm horrible with names. Bill.
Oh, Bill Burr.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this podcast is on his network. So yeah.
Well, if you ever
Never met
rebel,
him.
yeah, okay. He's fucking.
Yeah,
he's somebody who I'll go out of my way to listen to.
He's fucking hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just produced a doc, this company, about this comic Patrice O'Neill. He's a good guy to check out too.
And then there's is he Australian? Is it
Jim Jeffries?
Yeah. Awesome.
Right. So you like that raw cultural commentary.
Yeah. And it was only my brother was a jazz musician, and all the jazz musicians, like were obsessed with Lenny Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
This was when Lenny Bruce was still alive, and he was still, being dogged by the cops and the law
Censorship.
for being dirty and, and political. But I would say my early comedy chops, because my brother was another one who, whatever he was doing, I just wanted to tag along. And he was listening to Lenny Bruce, like every single word of Lenny Bruce he could get his hands on. He was listening to it 24/7. And so I guess maybe that's where the whole kind of cultural commentary thing got awoken.
Yeah. It's interesting listening back to Lenny Bruce now, because it kind of like, it's almost hard to see what made him so unique in that moment, because I think he broke the ground. So you can't really, I can't put myself in the context before that ground was broken.
I like to point this out to people, but Gangsta with an A was Sinatra, Dean Martin, and Sammy Davis Jr. because they were drinking and smoking on stage.
Mm.
This was our version of Gangsta, even though they were all, dressed impeccably and, black tie and Brooks Brothers or whatever. But they were bad boys because they dared to have a cocktail while they were working, and fuck around and use, loose language in Vegas, and they captivated the mind of this was back when, censorship was, you couldn't say damn, you couldn't say hell, you couldn't say God in any public forum. So a guy like Lenny Bruce comes along and he just shatters everything. And because of the times he lived in, it was big news, big news. But nowadays, it's like nothing is sacred anymore, which is one of the things that I read about in my first book, which is like watching this such a dramatic shift in what one said and what one didn't say compared to now in my lifetime is I'm not sure it's a good thing as permissive as we've been allowed to become.
Yeah. Who'd you run with? Who were you, like a hippie, or were you like a jock, or who? I could see it going any which direction.
I was dressed like a hippie. I had bell bottoms and tie dye, and I had a big Jewish afro, and but I was a theater guy. While all my friends were going to Grateful Dead concerts and and listening to Rolling Stones and shit, I was a theater guy from a jazz family. So my music, even while I was being dressed like a hippie, was Miles Davis and John Coltrane, Bill Evans,
right,
Cannonball Adderley, Mingus and Monk and shit like that. And everybody else was going to Shea Stadium to see the Stones,
What about theater? Were you like Arthur Miller and Eugene O'Neill, and then were you doing?
Well, I had a real classical education in college. I had a guy who insisted that I read everything, starting from Aeschylus, the Greeks, all the way up to Samuel Beckett, who was still writing contemporaneously while I was studying.
Oh, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and as was Harold Pinter. I was going to see world premieres of both their plays while I was going to college. But he insisted that I read the greatest stuff that was ever written. And so the writers of my day, when I was first
Like
throwing down as
Mamet and Shepard and those
no,
guys?
no, no. Mamet wasn't even fucking born yet, bro. No, it was Eugene O'Neill and Tennessee Williams and Edward Albee
Yeah,
and Arthur Miller
great writers.
and Gunter Grass, some other amazing European voices. But Tennessee Williams was still alive when I was in college, still writing plays, still having world premieres. But those were the godheads: Williams, O'Neill, Miller, and Edward Albee, and Eugene Ionesco, Harold Pinter, Samuel Beckett.
So did you do all their stuff? Did you do like Waiting for Godot?
I did the other one.
It's the only
Also-
one I know.
Also two characters. I'll think of the name of it in a second, but
Endgame.
Endgame.
Nice, Aaron.
Aaron coming in.
Jeez.
Aaron with the saves.
That was huge. Do you have any great Nicholas Winding Refn stories?
Well, I have one. To tell you the truth, there are probably a million of them, but I can't recall any of them right now. But I have one that harkens back to, I think it was a question Aaron might have asked about preparation and stuff. But I was one of those guys that had seen the Pusha trilogy.
Oh no.
No, I had seen Bronson. And then I was so blown away by Bronson that I went back and watched the Pusha trilogy. Then I hear this rumor that Refn is coming to make his first American film, and Ryan Gosling is attached, and he's casting right now. And I said to my people, I never, ever, ever lobby for a part. I never have lobbied for a part in my life, except for this one. I said to my people, you gotta arrange for me to at least have a conversation with Refn, and I want to tell him why I need to play Nino. And so I was on location someplace, and he was in LA, and he agreed to have a phone conversation with me. And I was so insistent on the phone that he said, well, when are you coming back to LA? And I said, I'll be back next week. He said, come up to my house and we'll sit and talk about it. But I'm interested in your enthusiasm. I don't know what it is about, but I'm interested. You're very enthusiastic. And it's a little annoying, but let's take it a step further. So I go up to Refn's house, and we meet, and we sit out. But he's got a rented house in the Hollywood Hills, and we sit out in the back, and we're having a really cool conversation. And he says to me, I could tell that the meeting was winding down, but he says to me, let me ask you this. Who is Nino? That was the character that I wanted to play. And I paused, and my internal monologue was, if I answer this question wrong, I'm fucked. And I don't know what the right answer is. So what's it going to be, Ron? So that was like a 10-second pause. And then I said to him, Nick, I don't know who Nino is, but I'll tell you one thing. When you say action, shit is going to happen. And he said, okay, I'll see you on the first day. That was that was the right answer.
Wow.
That's
That's
amazing.
awesome.
And I really didn't, the fact of the matter is, when we had that meeting, Nino was like a stick figure. He had no personality whatsoever. He was just an idea. He hadn't been fleshed out. And the one beautiful thing that Refn did do on Drive is that he had all of us sit in his living room with the writer and bullshit about who we thought our characters should be, might want to be. And that guy implemented mostly our own ideas. And Nino was developed like right in front of me. But when he asked me the question, I didn't know who he was. And I thought that the best thing I could do was to just be honest. And it worked out.
Because later on you said that Nino was basically you, in the sense that he's a Jewish guy who wanted to be an Italian gangster, right?
Right. Well, that
Yeah.
was the original concept. I mean, that part of it had been established very early on, even though the character wasn't born out in the writing yet. But he was Nino, whose real name was, I can't remember what his real name was, but it was like Arthur Schwartz or some shit like that, And he was like this Jew from Queens. And when we spoke over the phone, when I was out of town, and we were just talking on the phone, he said, "Why do you want to play the part so much?" And I said, "Well, because I'm a Jewish guy. And when I wasn't thinking of myself as Italian, I was fantasizing about myself being Italian. And I was eating like an Italian. I was fucking like it. I was doing everything like a fucking Italian."
How do you fuck like an Italian?
Trust me, that's in my next book. You're gonna have to pay retail. If you want to know, you're gonna have to pay retail. I won't charge you tax.
Copy that. Sounds
I'll
good.
be selling them out of the trunk of my car at Dodger Stadium while I'm getting vaccinated for COVID.
Nice. Have you been vaccinated yet?
I got my first one. My second one was supposed to be Friday, and because of the storms and all of the airport closures, they were postponed to an undefined day in the future.
You ready to get back out there? You feel good?
I've been doing okay during the pandemic. I've been going out pretty much doing something every day, do all the shopping for that. I can't sit around and do nothing. And then I got really lucky because Nightmare Alley, which they interrupted in March when COVID first hit, was 40% shot already. And then they decided that they could remount it and finish it. So mid-September, I was back up in Toronto working on a big movie as if nothing had happened. I mean, we were all wearing masks and shit and, getting COVID, getting your nose swabbed every other day. But the making of the film was as it always is.
Yeah.
I got a question. What makes you most stoked in life?
Hitting the club face right in the middle on a golf shot is up there, because it's pure and it's rare. It doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
I've always been a huge fan of the hunt. I like being in the hunt. It's why I'm never going to be able to retire. I mean, I'm just going to keep doing this till I die. Because I love to be in the hunt. I love to know that there's a project that I'm working on that might happen, or that there is a project that people are talking about and they are interested in me doing that might happen. I love the fact that I hear about, I got a job and it's in 2 weeks. And so I got some time where I'm in this beautiful state of grace where I don't have to worry about where my next job is coming from. But I really, really love being in the hunt. And I love developing stuff. Even though most of the stuff I develop, like I said, doesn't happen. Other shit happens while I'm, you make plans and God laughs, like while I'm making plans, other shit is usually takes its place and makes it impossible for me to finish what I started. But I love being in the hunt. I love being in a kind of a creative state, because it makes me feel more alive than pretty much anything else.
Yeah.
Nice. Should we answer some listeners' questions?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
You have listeners?
Couple.
Yeah, a few.
I was told that this was completely
Just between us.
Yeah, just between us.
Yeah, this will be internal. We'll let them know.
God, I hope I didn't say anything super revealing.
JT, I got to pee just real quick.
Dude, P.
Yeah, you can handle listener questions.
Yeah, we might just chat until he gets back.
Oh, okay.
How's your day going otherwise? You good?
It's pretty early, you know. But yeah, it's a beautiful day here. Where are you?
I'm in West Hollywood.
Yeah, I'm in Pasadena. It's a beautiful day. Sun is shining. It's in the 60s, 70s, whatever.
It's nice. Where were you born?
New York City.
Oh, in the city?
Yeah.
What did your family do?
My dad had been a jazz drummer. And when he started having kids, he didn't feel like he could put food on the table doing that. So he went back and got a kind of a vocational degree as a TV and radio repairman.
Oh,
and
wow.
did that most of his whole life. At 45, he went back to school and became a substitute teacher for electronics and did that for 4 years until he had a heart attack and passed away at 49.
So if your dad was a jazz musician, you're 70, so you're born in like 1950. So your dad was drumming in like the like 30s to 40s.
He was done by the time I came along.
So he was pretty early in jazz though, right?
He was in the swing days.
Right. So it's like Duke Ellington kind of stuff.
Duke Ellington, Benny Goodman, Glenn Miller, Harry James, the Dorsey brothers.
A little more big band. There's more people on stage.
Yeah. But it was the beginnings of the articulation of jazz. I mean, you know, the early days of jazz was like way back in the 20s with Louis Armstrong and those cats, you know, in like New Orleans. But the big bands in the 30s and 40s.
But like cool jazz and like free jazz are about to kind of spring out.
Well, then, you know, big band jazz, swing jazz was replaced by bebop, which was Charlie Parker, Miles, John Coltrane, Monk, Mingus, Stan Getz, all those guys. That was bebop, but it was the next iteration of jazz, American jazz.
It's hard for me.
My brother was a bebop jazz musician, whereas my dad was a swing jazz musician, swing band jazz musician.
Did your brother play the drums too?
Yeah, and he died at 38, so I lost both of them very young.
I'm so sorry.
It's all right.
Was
long time ago.
Was Buddy Rich like he's the
Buddy
kind
Rich was my dad's hero. My brother had disdain for anybody that my dad loved.
Oh, so your brother didn't like Buddy Rich?
He didn't like Buddy Rich.
Yeah, that's funny.
He liked Elvin Jones and Philly Joe Jones, Tony Williams, you know, the bebop guys.
Any tip on how I could kind of understand like Kind of Blue better when I try to listen to it?
I don't understand. I just think it's beautiful.
No, I mean I don't mean like understand like, you know, the theory of it or whatnot, but I even have trouble listening to it sometimes.
Really?
I'll give it another shot today.
I mean, there's no right or wrong what your taste in music. I mean, you know, I came to grips with that when all my friends were, you know, discovering rock and roll in high school and college, and you know, and I just went, that shit is just so one-dimensional and, you know, with unmusical.
Felt lowbrow to you?
Felt lowbrow to me, you know, because I had come from a family where harmonics and progressions and real sophisticated musicality went into the recipe. And, you know, rock and roll always had this just one driving kind of like, you know, one-dimensional thing to it that I didn't relate to until I was much older. Like I just 3 weeks ago, I just downloaded The Last Waltz, you know, which is the Martin Scorsese
movie.
The band last performance.
You know the famous Neil Young thing, right? That he had cocaine on his nose, and they edited it out of the DVD. But if you watch the original, you can see it all over him.
No, but I believe that. You know the story that you know, you used to see Satchmo, Louis Armstrong, with a white handkerchief, you know, he's constant, you know. The story was that thing was laced with cocaine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's a lot
He
of stories.
wasn't he wasn't really sweating, he was snorting.
Hilarious. They said about Jimi Hendrix too, right? The old folklore story that he put a tab of acid under his bandana when he did like the Star Spangled Banner or something like that. So when he sweat, it would seep into his pores.
Jesus, what a way to go, man.
I don't know if it's true though. I think maybe it's just I only ever heard that.
I think it's more
stoners.
true than not, probably,
Yeah.
because those cats were like, they were heavy druggies.
Yeah, they burn the candle at both ends. You never got into drugs and stuff?
No, I mean, when everybody else was, when everybody else was discovering marijuana, I was smoking pot, but I never took to it like a lot of my friends did. And I never took to cocaine, even though I tried it multiple times, because I said, this has got to be better than what I'm experiencing, because everybody is so fucking, like selling their house for it and shit. And I kept trying and kept trying to go, I don't get this. I never fucked with hallucinogens though, other than, really good.
All right. You guys want to answer some questions?
Why not?
All right, this is a long one. Some of these questions can be long, so it can be kind of hard to sit in the pocket and hear all of it, Ron. But we'll catch you up after if it floats by you a little bit. All right. What up, bros? Want to start off by saying thanks for boosting my Stoke levels on a weekly basis. Your SoCal vibes and shiny demeanors have really made my COVID Canadian winter a little sunnier. Thank you. Sorry for the long email. I really hope you enjoy it. Over the past year, I've met a couple girls who I seem to really connect with over a couple dates and frequent texting calls. However, each time after 2 dates, I got the dreaded "this isn't working out" text, with both girls claiming they just weren't feeling any chemistry. The most recent example was this week, and it led to some frustration and introspective analysis of what I think has been a recurring problem in my life. To put it shortly, I'm a pussy-ass bitch. I've always been scared of being fully vulnerable with potential partners. I always get really nervous of what my family and friends would think of potential girlfriends. In intimate situations, I get really nervous, and to hide that, I become very distant and avoid making a move. This has led to me being a 28-year-old virgin who has avoided dating almost entirely out of fear. I've been told I'm good looking and quite the catch, but I feel like when my friends try to encourage me and they mean well, I just feel shame for still being in this situation and feeling added pressure. In the two aforementioned dating situations, there was no touching or kissing whatsoever, as I was too scared to make a move. I feel like this is a reason no chemistry can manifest. As I continually avoid it and don't show my interests, or maybe the girls just didn't like me, as I get closer to 30, I'm really worried my lack of romantic experience is going to hinder my chance at meeting someone special. Also, dropping the virgin bomb this late in life seems like a sure way to put extra pressure on a potential relationship. Do you have any tips on how to become more comfortable with being uncomfortable? It seems like my lethargic timeline of getting physical with someone really lags behind what is normal nowadays. Everyone says romantic moments just naturally happen, but should I be making more of an effort to spark the flame, or should I be myself and expect to be like Steve Carell in 40-Year-Old Virgin? Thank you so much, guys. Any thoughts you have would be graciously appreciated.
Steve Carell. Sorry.
No.
That's funny.
No. No, listen, I feel for this person. And understand it. And it's one of those things that goes back to pressure. I mean, you're digging yourself into a grave deeper and deeper and deeper by putting this amount of pressure on yourself to score. And the longer it takes you to score without success, the more pressure you're putting on yourself. So it's kind of like a complete self-defeating. But what you're gonna have to do, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to fucking man up and grow a pair and say, at some point when you're out there with a girl who you want to kiss, you're gonna just have to actually repeat after me. Are you listening? Repeat after me. Can I kiss you? And if she says no, just, okay, sorry. Chances are she's going to say yes. And then the minute you do, you'll know what to do from that point on.
I love that. I agree. I think you gotta put yourself out there, and you gotta just bite the bullet and the more pressure you put on yourself, the more you build up this sort of anxiety in your head, or just it's you once you do make that step towards just saying, hey, do you want to kiss, that kind of stuff, you're going to feel so much better about the whole situation, about yourself. So it's just taking that first step. You gotta get on stage and do it.
And something real will happen when you say that, even if you fuck it up, but something real will follow. She's gonna be real with you one way or the other, because you were just real with her. You were expressing something real. And usually good things happen when you go from the shit that you're imagining in your head, which is what all the pressure is coming from, to shifting the conversation to something real. Like, I really want to kiss you right now. Is that okay with you? And she's going to tell you, but her answer is probably going to be pretty real. It may be a lie, but it's going to be a real lie, or it may be a little game that she wants to play. Well, oh, I'm going to kiss this guy, but not right now, not on his terms, but real shit will happen, and it'll replace the imagined horrible pressure you're putting on yourself, which is getting you nowhere.
For sure. And dude, also if you go for that kiss and it doesn't work, then you could just tell her like, hey, sorry, I don't have that great a game. I'm a 28-year-old virgin. And then maybe that honesty will not only disarm her, but it might disarm you to just put your truth out there. And just
I agree with that. And she'll probably go, "Aw,
yeah,
come here. Oh,
yeah." If she's a nice person,
yeah,
she's gonna help you along, and she might find it endearing. I know I would. All right, we got another long one, fellas. What up, Chad and JT and any other legends on the pod? Shout out to Aaron behind the stick, Strider, the relationship guru, and Joe's hog. Our friend Joe's normally on here, and he's got a huge dick. Apologies for the semi-long question. It's a bit complicated one that has been tearing me apart. I've been listening to y'all for over 2 years now and always appreciate the stoke and wisdom you provide for me and the rest of the Stokers, especially around relationships. I'm ready to get some tips on how to approach an upcoming trip I'm going on with friends from college at the end of the month. We graduated last year and have a dank squad of 12 homies. I'm so hyped to see all of them, but there's one problem. One of the homies is my ex. Her and I dated for our senior year, but called things off back in October as we drifted apart from distance, about an 8-hour drive apart, and the lingering fact that we're moving to cities on opposite coasts of the U.S. once COVID chills out. Ever since this split, my stoke has not been nearly as high. She was so great for me, and I truly was in love with her. But we made a mature decision to end things before we got sucked in too deep and moved on to new cities. This was mainly her idea, unfortunately. Since we didn't break up over any sort of dispute, I'm filled with so many what ifs and constantly think about how it would be if we were still together. It also doesn't help that we're in the same text and Snapchat groups, so I see her on the phone all the time. She's on my mind every single day since we broke up over 4 months ago, and a big part of me wants her to move back more than anything. But a smaller part of me thinks that I just need to keep looking forward to moving on to my new city and finding other potential dank GFs. I know this for sure. I'm still insanely attracted to her. I want her to be my girlfriend again, and I still love her. But I also know that if I tell her this, I risk getting my heart broken even worse than it already is. Should I pull her aside on the upcoming weekend excursion to confess this to her, or should I just keep my composure and not take that risk? Any advice y'all would have would be super appreciated. And if you could let me know if and when you're including this in an episode, that would be clutch, since it's sort of time sensitive.
Time sensitive.
Yeah, I think we actually missed the window on that, if I'm being completely candid. But I think.
Well, I'm really glad you took the time to read the whole thing then, if we missed the window. You should get somebody to vet these emails, bro. I mean, you guys are probably pulling down 7 figures on this fucking podcast.
We're not quite there yet, but we could have someone do that for us. I'll actually, Ron, I swear to God, I'm actually going to do that after this episode. I think it's about time I had some, but I don't trust somebody else to pick the emails. Their sensibility could be different than mine.
All it's a question of is, did you miss the window or not? That's the only thing that matters. Because you just took 3 minutes out of my life that I'll never get back.
But Ron, this is advice that could relate to somebody else.
The fucking train left the station, bro.
But dude, it's not. I don't think of it so linearly.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Rock with me here, bro. Come on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Look, I know. It wasn't a great tag to put on the end of the email, but I think there's still some stuff here that we need to dive into.
Well, no, fuck him. You know, he's probably blown it by now. You know, so like, what? Next case. There's plenty of people out there that really need us.
Wait, no, I got to give this dude some advice though. I'm sorry. I like what you're saying though. Dude, I think you should just go for it. I think she's going to reject you, but I think you should just go for it. I think just tell her you love her and just take that heartbreak on and we'll suffer together. We all suffer through this stuff, but
you have any advice for her?
No, I don't know where she's at on this. Well, I don't know if she should say whatever she thinks. I think she wanted to break up and then the moving to different cities was a good common sense reason why. But I think if she was truly into him, she would have stuck it out. Right.
I don't know, man. Yeah. This guy, he probably, he's probably not even on the internet anymore.
I just picture him hammered at a park.
He's in a 12. He's in a 12-step program, bro. He doesn't have time to do that.
Yeah.
He's I've been waiting for this podcast to tell me what to do, and then they fucked me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with JT. I think you got to go for it, or if not, take like a moratorium from seeing her on your phone. Like I would bail out of those group chats. I would maybe just like mute her on social media so you don't see her, because the more you just keep seeing her and it's just gonna keep torturing you. So I think you just gotta bail from that.
Yeah, you can't be on all those constant reminders of her. You're just torturing yourself. And I appreciate the masochist in you, but it's just I don't think you're getting much out of it. But I would tell her you love her and see what happens. And dude, honestly, I was being a little cynical saying she's probably going to say no, but dude, crazy shit happens. She could say yes. So I think you got to always be optimistic that these things could work out. All right, last question from Zachary. My dogs, I have a serious issue at hand. Literally, me and my girl have been doing the horizontal hokey pokey every day for the past 2 months. And I also really like to hit the gym in my free time. This guy's just, why? Okay. But I also take T boosters. I got off them because I forgot to take them, but I don't know. I think they messed me up. A few nights ago, we were in the middle of it and I got softer than Charmin toilet paper and I looked defeated. Then the next night, I couldn't stop thinking about the incident and it happened again. Please, my dogs, help me become an absolute unit and maybe someday a legend. What do you think I should try to do?
Viagra.
Yeah, dude, that stuff works. But I don't know. I get headaches when I take it. The next day, I feel kind of off.
I'm not talking about you right now, are we? You write your own fucking email if you want me to just I can prescribe something else if you get a headache.
I'm saying it from personal experience because I'm looking out for him. I'm like, yeah, it's a quick fix, but there's no free lunch. This guy's he's gonna have a fucking headache tomorrow.
I don't give a shit whether you have a headache or not, motherfucker. Just drop the Viagra. You'll be harder than Chinese algebra, and you will have moved past this this writer's block you have right now.
So you think it's first hole jitters? You think the Viagra will get him there? But because I'm worried he might get
I think he needs to remind himself of his power. And if he can't do it on his own, don't get in a rut. Use a substance.
Yeah, that works.
Why is he taking T-boost? Like, how old is this kid?
He's in college, I think. Sounds like it.
Yeah, why you don't
they say that your testosterone goes down commensurate with how much stress you have in your life. And to me, right now, if you look around at what's happening in the world, it's amazing anybody has any testosterone at all.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I think also like, I don't know, I've had boner problems like a million times in my life, and I got a nice boner. I just wouldn't, I think you're thinking that this moment's going to last forever, but it's just a moment. It happens to the best of us. You'll be fine. Yeah. You're just a little sensitive, which is nice.
Pop a little blue diamond, baby.
I used to I was like addicted to that stuff. That's why I get wary about it. Because I was chasing that power, but it wasn't real power. It was.
You're only supposed to take one a day. That's probably why you're getting headaches.
Well, now I can't even take. If I take like 12 milligrams, I get a headache the next day. I'm just sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say Do some
I-
squats and take an ice bath.
That's healthy.
Yeah.
You
That'll
do
boost
squats,
your
Ron?
Squats,
Yeah.
I can get down,
Squats?
I just can't get back up.
teeth.
You get that, what's
So
that
I
called?
try to avoid them.
That's what's
I
up.
have bad knees. I'm maybe gonna go get a knee replacement pretty soon.
Mm.
So I'm trying to work my core. Never mind, this is bullshit.
But I
No,
appreciate you,
no,
you
I don't
trying.
do squats. I don't do squats. I just do curls.
Curls for the girls.
Right.
Yeah. Edward Burns, the director, he says you put a dumbbell by your toilet. You just do curls when you're on the toilet.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna talk about squeezing one out, but
Jacking off?
no, I didn't say that. You did.
No, you innuendoed it.
That's rubbing one out,
What would you say?
He's talking about taking a shit.
squeezing one out.
Oh, that is taking a shit, huh?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It depends on what neighborhood you came from.
Yeah. All right, I think that's good. I think that was a good final question to end on.
Fine with me.
Right. You want more? You want more?
No,
can keep them coming.
I said fine with me. I'm good. I'm really good here.
All right.
Ron, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. It was really a
My
pleasure.
pleasure. No, it was fun. It was fun, guys. It was
Yeah,
fun.
you're a lot of fun to talk to. Appreciate you.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. Nice
All right.
meeting you guys.
Yeah, you as well. Have a
Okay.
great Sunday.
You do the same.
All right, bye, Ron.
See you, fellas.
Guys, I'm interrupting this podcast to let you know once again that we are brought to you by Honey. Honey, thank you so much for sponsoring the podcast. What up? You guys are legends. To all the listeners out there, I know you guys shop online, especially during the pandemic. We're online. We're shopping. We're trying to freaking, buy stuff. And you want those promo codes. You want that discount. We all want a discount. A discount. Who says no to a discount? Not me. I always say yes to a discount because discounts are legit. You know, discounts mean you get to spend less money, which is where Honey comes into play because this is a free browser extension. And when you check out, the Honey button drops down. All you have to do is click apply coupons. Once you do that, you wait a few seconds and it'll search for coupons it can find on that site. And if it finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop. So basically, whenever you're shopping, you can get coupons for a lot of the stuff you're getting. So that's what's up. It saved me money on, I got a few new t-shirts. I got, what else did I get? I got bone broth. I got such good discounts on bone broth, guys. I mean, it's legit. And Honey has found its over 17 million members, over $2 billion in savings. That's billion with a B. That is almost $100 billion, to quote Dr. Evil. So if you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out on free savings. Literally free, installs in a few seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting this podcast. So get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/go deep. That's joinhoney.com/go deep. Yes. Okay, guys, we are also brought to you by Manscaped. Manscaped, thank you so much for keeping our trims pubed, for looking after our hogs, for making sure that our DONGs are looking fresh and be clean, because Manscaped is the best in men's below the waist grooming and trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. If you're on the market for some beautiful balls, we have an exclusive offer for you guys, our listeners. You can get 20% off plus free shipping by, oh wait, that's the pre-roll. I'm not even ready to tell you guys how you can get 20% off plus free shipping, okay? Because I gotta tell you a little bit more about Manscaped and their legit products. I mean, these guys have accident skin safe technology, a ceramic blade to reduce grooming cuts, accidents. You get a replacement blade on your lawnmower 3.0. When someone tells you, hey, what do you do for grooming? Do you want to say, oh, I use this thing that just like, I use scissors to cut my pubes and it's scary? No, you want to look them square in the eyes and you want to say, hey, I use a lawnmower 3.0 for my pubes. And they're like, whoa, what is that? Like you use like an actual lawnmower? Close. It's a lawnmower for your pubes that has skin safe technology and a replacement blade that came with it. Because I listened to the Going Deep podcast with Ron Perlman. You can get replacement blades that come in a brand new peak hygiene plan. And this plan is a member portal to manage your membership preferences and is available across Europe, Australia, and the US, which is legit. So you can enroll in this peak hygiene plan and get every 3 months a replenishment of your favorite products and replacement blades delivered directly to your door, hassle-free. You don't even have to think about it. They're like, hey, you've been doling out your blade because your pubes are so thick. You need a replacement. Bam, it comes to your door. And it's all your favorite Manscaped products, ball deodorant, the weed whacker for your nose hairs, all kinds of stuff, the cologne. I mean, the list goes on and on. This is the best company on earth, and I'm not ashamed to say it. And I can assure you the most hygienic set of testes will be yours in town. And your replenishment pack always comes with a free gift. Yeah. This month we got the Foot Duster foot deodorant spray. $30 value add, totally free. So get 20% off plus free shipping with the code GODEEP20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping by going to manscaped.com/GoDeep20. Put handsome on autopilot with the new peak hygiene plan from Manscaped. Oh, you guys are back.
What's up, dog?
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you too, brother. Chad, let's get into it. Who's your beef of the week?
My beef of the week is something I'm not mad about. Let me just write this down. My beef of the week is something I'm not mad about, but something I discovered yesterday. So yesterday I posted a photo of me at Home Depot. I'm becoming a home repair guy. Yesterday I was getting a pump for my ice bath so I could pump out the water, and it's manual, guys. Got to keep that. I'm going to use my muscles to get the water out. I don't need a fucking gas powered pump. And so I posted a photo of me, next to some pretty sick pipe equipment. I was really pumped on the valves and everything going on with the pipe equipment. And I was like, yeah, I'm becoming a Home Depot guy, just making the announcement to the universe. And I got a bunch of messages that were like, whoa, dude, Home Depot? You should be going with Lowe's. You should be a Lowe's guy. And I would say that the majority of the messages were like, what are you doing in Home Depot? You should be going to Lowe's. And I had no idea that this kind of beef existed. And I don't really know why people have this beef. Because, I talked to my brother about it, who's, big handyman, and he's like, Lowe's is for housewives. So, I just want to, maybe some people can write in and tell us why they prefer Home Depot or Lowe's, because I've been going to Home Depot and it really tickles my fancy, and it spurs my gooch in a good way. So, just let us know what's the deal with Lowe's versus Home Depot, and do you guys have preferences?
I don't, because I don't know shit, but I saw Aaron making some head gestures.
Well, I thought that they were objecting to Home Depot because the owner apparently donates a bunch to Trump.
Is that it?
To
It's
which
political?
I would say so does Lowe's, so it's fine. Yeah, both of them do, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Are people
Heads up,
still
guys.
donating to him? Did you guys see
No, I mean this is before.
Did you see he
obviously.
stiffed Rudy Giuliani on the bill? The lawyer bill?
Did you really?
Yeah.
He's only done it his whole life, so what would you expect?
Yeah, I guess he's
gosh.
not paying Rudy. It's so funny. Aaron, who's your beef of the week?
My beef for the week is with Spit Up. I don't know if you've ever encountered this with a baby, but man, you think you're wearing a cool shirt for the day, and just out of nowhere, it's got white shit on it, and it sucks. Um, you still love your baby, but your wardrobe is ruined.
Dude. My beef of the week is with Trevor Noah. I was watching
Nice.
something on Comedy Central for the first time in a while, and I had to watch a couple Trevor Noah commercials, and I just think he's awful.
Mm.
Chad,
Preach it.
who's your babe of the week?
Dude, that was my favorite beef I think you've ever done. My legend of the week, is that what you're asking?
Babe, rather.
Babe of the week. This is the one I couldn't figure out, but let me just go off the top of my dome here.
A broth, a liver. Ooh, what about that pit bull?
Yeah, I was gonna go with that. So I'm looking for dogs. I met a pit mix yesterday, Story, and super cute, super affectionate, needs a home, and I think that she's so cute. The demand is high. But the lady was telling me that she's like, she's super high energy, super high prey drive. I'd have to train her essentially. And I'd have to worry about, I don't know if I'd be able to take her to the dog park. I don't know if she's just like too high energy. I'd have to do like crate training, she said, and that's a part of me was like, I don't think I'd have the time to handle this. Another part of me is like, I think it'd be really cool to learn how to train a dog and to learn how to be the leader of a dog. And I think the bond would be pretty sick. So I'm just trying to figure that out. I'm still looking around for dogs, and maybe I want one with a little bit milder, a little bit lower energy. But I love Story. I mean, she's super cute. I wonder if I'd be the right owner for her. But I think it's a challenge that I think I'd really enjoy. I think. I don't know if I'm at the point in my life. Maybe if I lived with someone, then we could both handle it. But the idea of having like a bond with a dog where I've trained the dog and we have this like connection, it really just gets my gears going. So that's the status of my dog search at the moment.
Nice, dude. I think it's gonna end up exactly as it should.
Oh, thanks, man.
The quads on that dog were powerful.
They were incredible. So she's a lab mix, so she has a Labrador head and then the beefiest quads you've ever seen. Like the most inspiring. They were incredible. So I was so pumped on them.
Stoked on that. I mean, I think you look at that dog, you're gonna want to lift every day. You know what I mean?
That's exactly. I didn't get like a good photo for you, but I was like, if JT saw these, I think he would just go straight into burpees.
Boom.
Yeah.
Love that. Aaron, who's your baby of the week?
Well, I have an example of why you need to train a dog. My mom's, during this podcast, while we're recording with Ron Perlman, which is a joy of my life, my mom's dog scratched my baby's face.
Whoa.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Is your baby okay?
She's okay. Yeah, she's.
I'm sorry, man.
But
Is she bleeding?
no.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's just like.
Did that make you angry at the dog?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is lack of training.
I'd find it hard not to do something.
Well, luckily I wasn't there to see it. I was in here and distracted, so all I heard was crying and assumed it was kind of normal, and then come to find out. So
Is that why you had to jet when Chad was doing the ads?
yeah.
Dude, you're such a pro. You came right back in and you were dialed. Respect. Yeah.
My baby of the week is my wife, Leah. She's been here at my parents' house for a week while I went up back to LA to work. Just kind of letting the baby hang out with the grandparents a little more. And I just missed the hell out of her. So she's my baby of the week.
Nice, dude. That's so lovely. My baby of the week is Patrice O'Neill. So All Things Comedy, where we do our podcast, produced and directed a special about Patrice O'Neill, who I think we can all agree is one of the, I don't know, the greatest comedians of all time, a true original. And I found the documentary, it was, first of all, it was way sweeter than I thought it was going to be. You know what I mean? Because we all know him for his like kind of his braggadocio, but he backs that braggadocio up with intelligence and performance chops and commitment. And so it's well earned. But I wasn't expecting how sweet it would be. And that was really nice. But the thing that always inspires me the most about him is just his honesty, you know? And he always says like, you can't fuck with the truth. And like, and he lived it. And just watching him be that way made me want to be more honest and more truthful. And I think the thing is, sometimes I'll think that means I have to be honest and truthful like him, you know, which is kind of like this, like almost like pimp honesty that he would kind of have when it, especially when it came to male female relationships. But that's not my truth. You know what I mean? That was his truth and it was well earned, but my truth is different. So I just have to, but I still took the inspiration to be like, all right, but be your truth. And my truth is more like crying in front of a girl and just being vulnerable and stuff like that. And I'm sure Patrice would have made fun of that, but I think like that's how I'm more formidable when I'm living that truth. So I don't know. I love Patrice O'Neill. I loved watching that special so much. He's so funny. But yeah, the truth thing is really what I think will be my biggest takeaway from him and his legacy. It's just, it's always better to just be honest and truthful. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Chad, who's your legend of the week?
My legend of the week. So it's more just sort of what happened yesterday. It was the afternoon and I was like going to work out and I was going to do sprints up the hill, but I've been doing them so much that it's become kind of monotonous for me.
Sure.
And so I did like one sprint up the hill and I was like, I'm not feeling this. Like, and I've been trying to listen to my body more. I'm like, I'm not going to force it. I'm not feeling this. So I kind of just like took this moment of like, what do I want to, like, what is my like intuition telling me that I want to do right now? So I just walked. I just straight up just walked. And I walked, I walked like up the hill and then like down and then like I found this football field with a track around it, and it was close. So I just hopped the fence and I just did sprints around the track. And then I listened to a Ron Perlman podcast and it just kept walking. And it was like the best 2 hours ever. It was incredible. I don't know what it was. I was just like walking. I was like, this is like, and then I like got back home. I was like, that was amazing. And that was sort of like I was like,
That's a breakthrough.
yeah, I was sort of like, I was like, wow, when you just sort of like listen to, your body and what your sort of intuition is telling you to do in that moment, and you don't like force things. That's when like the most incredible things in life happen, I think.
Dude, that's beautiful, man. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was, I got back, I was like, because I was like kind of like just like trying to sprint and I was not in a great mood. And then I just did that and it totally, I wasn't having a bad day, but it totally just like made my day great. It was cool.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank
Aaron,
you.
who's your legend of the week?
I mean, my legend of the week is this week's guest, Ron Perlman. What a fun guy to listen to. What a fun guy to hear talk with that voice. And just what an amazing career he's had. Like, to kind of start it all behind makeup the way that he did, where he's kind of, his big break was as like a caveman in the quest for fire, and then his big role as the Beast on Beauty and the Beast, which I contend, like, for every person who complains about wearing a mask right now, like, this dude had to wear 4 hours of makeup every day for granted he was being paid handsomely, I'm sure. It was a network soap opera, basically primetime soap opera, but like, that dude's had to be uncomfortable way more than you have.
For sure.
Just for having to wear a little cloth on your face. But between that and all his roles with Guillermo del Toro, he's in Pacific Rim, which we quote all the time. And he's in a great. If you don't know it, I'm going to talk about it in my quote too. But like, if you don't know The City of Lost Children, the French film by Jean-Pierre Jeunet, the guy who did Amélie.
Oh, nice.
If you don't know that film, like he's the star of the movie. He doesn't even speak French. Eddie's fucking jacked in it. It's 1995, so I don't know how old he was then. 45? Jacked. He's shirtless the whole movie. So
Beast.
check it out for your fitness goals.
Let's go.
Nice.
And yeah, Sons of Anarchy and all the stuff he's done is just. And I'm glad you guys talked about Drive because he's really good in that too. I think his character is pivotal. Like that whole movie is smooth sailing if that guy doesn't have the ambitions he has.
Yeah.
And puts things in motion that he does. So
Nino.
Man, props.
I was watching clips too. He's like, what fucking family? He's like, this driver's kid, he's got to go. He's got to go.
Yeah, so good. My legend of the week is The Boys. So I had a tough day yesterday and I was feeling really out of sorts and I wanted to wallow in my emotions, but I was like, I'll hop on the sticks and play some Call of Duty. Got into some Warzone action with Greg, Joe, and Ross. Gave them the rundown. They gave me some good life advice, grounded in empathy and kindness and strength. And then we started balling. Pick up a dub. We get a quick dub. Everybody's feeling good. We're laughing up a storm. Then we get like a 17th place. Then we get into another game. We get to Final Circle. Now, I am horrible in Final Circle. Anytime it's come down to a 1v1 to get the W in Warzone, I have come up short and I've gotten melted. It's me and Joe versus two other dudes. Joe takes one of them out. He takes Joe out. It's me and one other guy. They're all like, let's go, Par, you got this. Guy jumps around the corner. I got my tricked out Mac 10. I mow him down. The boys went so ballistic for me. Like they were like, yes, Par, you did it. We knew you could do it. You came through. Ross was like, you've become the man you were supposed to be. Let's go. And like, we were all so fired up. And I was just like, my body was on fire. I felt like I was shaking. And they knew it too. Ross was like, are you shaking? I'm like, dude, I'm jittering all over. He's like, you deserve it, bro. You deserve it. And we all went they were like, clip it. And we just went bananas. And then we run it back. And we picked up a back-to-back dub. We had 3 dubs on the night. Third dub. I didn't get the final kill, but I was in Final Circle. We brought Ross back. Final Circle. There was a buy box there. He comes in. Ross is a killer. Wipes 4 of them. And, you got a Greg, unbelievable tactical guy, unbelievable combat guy. Joe, same deal. And then they're all amazing on the comms, fun to talk to. They can balance strat and conversation. But Ross wipes everybody. And then we get a third victory on the night. And literally it's what I needed. I was like, I needed this. Like this really helped me. And I was like, I know it was huge. So thanks to the boys for being there, always been on the sticks and for not only being proficient with the loadout, but also being, proficient with the friendship. I appreciate it. Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Chad, what's your quote of the week?
So yesterday after I looked at this dog, I started taking a master class on dog training by this guy, Brandon McMillan. And he goes, the first step is all about trust. Without this essential element in your relationship with your dog, you cannot be an effective trainer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Aaron, what's your quote of the week?
So my quote of the week is Ron Perlman. He was being interviewed and being asked like if he was afraid he was being typecast as a tough guy. And he says, I don't bear any label. I perform very extreme characters, but at the same time, men with an enormous goodness. Take, for example, the Hercules from City of Lost Children, which I spoke about earlier. One, he is a child. One is the character's name. He's a child in an adult body. One is pure, simple, and innocent. My character in Beauty and the Beast had enormous generosity. Far from this world, the Beast was too good to be real. It's true that I hardly play ordinary people due to my appearance. Anyway, I'm not captive on any register. I don't systematically play tough and not very bright people. I congratulate myself for varied filmography and for being able to do all those roles.
Awesome.
True. I mean,
Nice.
the Vincent on Beauty and the Beast is like maybe the nicest character that's ever been on film.
Yeah, you can't put Ron in a box.
No.
My quote of the week is from a Pacific Rim, but it's not one of Ron Perlman's lines. It's Idris Elba and the final dude that he goes into the drift with. I forget the dude's name. Good looking, like, I don't know, British guy, Australian guy. And they're talking about whether they're going to be able to drift together because your brain has to connect with another person so you can operate the kaiju, these giant robot fighters.
Mhm.
And Idris Elba turns to him and he goes, "And as for you, well, you're easy. You're an egotistical jerk with daddy issues. A simple puzzle I solved on day one, but you are your father's son." And he's like, I forget what the last line is, but I know you'll fight well. And then the kid goes, "Works for me. Very badass. Very cool."
Sweet.
Chat, what's your phrase of the week for getting after it?
Let's give this night some lumbar support.
Nice. Aaron, what's your phrase of the week for getting after it?
Let's go shoot some chocolate.
Nice. Mine is have trust.
You got this, man.
I'm trying, bro. Yeah, I think I do. I can't fail. I got to figure it out. I'll have
Yeah.
trust. Not that you should think about it that way, but I can't let my insecurities dictate the outcomes of my relationship. So I'll do it. I'll have trust.
Yeah, I think just experiment with it for a week. Just be like, I'm completely letting everything go, and whatever happens, happens.
I'm worried it'll cost me some like personal power. Like I won't feel strong, but what kind of strength is that if it's so fragile? So let's go.
I think that's stronger than trying to control it.
I think you're right. I know. All right, I'm gonna drink a little bit today and I'll feel better. I'll be around though. I'll be around if you need me. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff,
All right.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Are we recording tomorrow?
If you need advice,